Imagine for a second you got a message, not from a friend, but from, well, some kind of cosmic, all-knowing being. A message that sees right through you. It knows everything you're doing right, but it also calls out your biggest, most hidden flaw. We're about to dive into 4 ancient messages just like that, sent to communities who are really struggling, each with a jaw-dropping challenge and an even more incredible promise. So every single one of these messages kicks off with this wild, powerful imagery. This is not just any voice speaking. It's a voice that holds stars in its hand and walks among golden lampstands. It's establishing this incredible cosmic authority right from the get-go, before it delivers a very personal, very specific review. Let's see what it had to say to the first community, Ephesus. Okay, so our first stop is the big, bustling city of Ephesus. Now, on the surface, this community, this church, they had it all figured out. I mean, they were hardworking, they knew their doctrine inside and out, and they were amazing at spotting and rejecting false teachers. But underneath that picture-perfect exterior, something was starting to go wrong. And here it is, the divine performance review. On the one hand, just look at that list of commendations. Hard work, perseverance, they can't stand evil, they've even tested so-called apostles and found them to be frauds, they suffered for their faith and didn't give up. I mean, these guys were champions of discipline. But then there's this one complaint, and it just hits like a ton of bricks. You have less love now. You've lost your first love. And that's the whole point, right? All their correct actions, all their good deeds, were starting to feel empty because the passion, the heart that started it all, was fading away. And the reward for fixing this, for getting that passion back, it's just incredible. It's a promise to go back to the very beginning, a chance to eat from the tree of life in God's paradise. For those who could find that first love again, the prize was literally a taste of paradise itself. All right, next we journey to Smyrna, and the whole mood just shifts dramatically. This isn't a community that's dealing with some internal problem. No, these people are facing crushing pressure from the outside. We're talking intense poverty, people spreading lies about them, and deadly, real-world persecution. The message to Smyrna starts with this deep, profound empathy. I know, the voice says. I know your hardships. I know your poverty. But then it immediately reframes their whole situation, adding, though you are rich. It's this moment of validation, you know? It sees their pain, but it also points them to a completely different kind of wealth, one that has nothing to do with money. And this is what's so amazing about the letter to Smyrna. After hearing the critique of Ephesus, you're kind of bracing for another but, another complaint. But it never comes. This message completely breaks the pattern. There are 0 complaints. It's a powerful way of showing that in the middle of all their suffering and poverty, this community was found to be blameless. Just wow. So the promise here isn't an escape from the pain. It's a reward for enduring it. It says, be faithful, even if it costs you your life. And the prize is a crown of life. It's this royal symbol of ultimate victory, a victory over death itself. From a community facing persecution, we now go to a place that is described in the most chilling way you can imagine. The people in Pergamum are actually praised for holding on to their faith in a city that's called the very place where Satan is enthroned. I mean, just look at this contrast. It's wild. On one side, you have this incredible courage. They're living where Satan is enthroned, and they didn't deny their faith, not even when one of their own was killed, martyred right there in the city. That is some serious bravery. But, and it's a big but, on the other side, that external strength was being eaten away from the inside by compromise, by tolerating false teachings that were dragging people back into old, destructive habits. The reward for Pergamum is maybe the most mysterious and personal of all. Hidden manna. It suggests this secret, divine, spiritual food that no one else knows about. And a white stone with a new name that only the person who receives it knows? That speaks to a brand new identity, an intimate, secret relationship with God, which is the total opposite of the public compromises they were being tempted with. Okay, our final letter goes to the city of Thyatira, and this community is thriving. They're commended for their love, their faith, their service, their perseverance. In fact, the message says they're doing even more now than they did at the beginning. But they are tolerating a seriously toxic and corrupting influence right there in their own group. So here's the paradox of Thyatira. You have all these good qualities, all this progress, but the complaint is a huge one. You tolerate this woman, Jezebel, a false prophetess who is actively luring people into spiritual and literal adultery and idolatry. Their problem isn't that they're doing bad things, it's that they're letting bad things happen. Their tolerance has become their downfall. So who is this Jezebel? Well, that name alone is a massive accusation. It's a direct callback to an infamous queen from the Old Testament, a name that became shorthand for idolatry, corruption, and leading a whole nation astray. To call someone Jezebel in this context was to accuse them of the worst kind of spiritual betrayal imaginable. The promise for the victors in Thyatira is absolutely cosmic in scale. They're offered a share in divine authority over all the nations. And, if that wasn't enough, the gift of the morning star itself. It's this incredible promise of ultimate power and enlightenment for anyone who rejects that corrupting influence and stands firm. So after going through these 4 intense spiritual checkups, a really clear pattern starts to emerge. It doesn't matter if the struggle was internal, like lost love, or external, like brutal persecution. It doesn't matter if it was subtle compromise or just tolerating evil. Each and every community was offered its own unique, powerful vision of what victory looks like. Just think about these promises for a second. A return to paradise, a royal crown of life, a secret name and divine food, and authority over nations, plus the morning star. Each reward was perfectly tailored to their specific struggle, offering either restoration, or honor, or intimacy, or power. And that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? We've got these 4 ancient snapshots: the group that was diligent but had grown cold, the one that was persecuted but faithful, the one that was brave but was compromising, and the one that was growing but was way too tolerant of corruption. It really makes you wonder, right? Which of these timeless struggles feels the most familiar in our world, maybe even in our own lives today?